So Duke got a nice 78-70 win over number 10 Baylor up at Madison Square Garden. So home game for Duke, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
This one was a bit of a grind for Duke. Now, first real true signature good win for Duke this season. They've played some good teams. They've played against Arizona. They played that game at home. They played Michigan State at the time, was ranked, but they were realizing Michigan State maybe isn't that good. They played at Arkansas. So they've played some good games so far, but haven't had that signature win as of yet. This one was that. It was a bit of a grind for Duke. There were some cold stretches scoring. Jon Scheyer relied heavily on his starting five, and only 3 guys off the bench played a combined total of 21 minutes. We'll get into that in a little bit. And it's a young lineup as a whole, but they were able to make big plays down the stretch. Here's Jon Scheyer talking about, hey, being able to play this game in Madison Square Garden against a top team like Baylor was a bit of an honor.
What an honor to play in MSG. You know, this has been a special place for us, especially to play right before Christmas, this kind of game. It's going to be hard to do it going forward, depending on the ACC schedule, but just seeing the crowd show up and all the Duke fans in New York, what a special thing. Like for these guys, I know they love playing in it. It's great coaching in it, and to play a team like Baylor, to get tested by a team who really had coming in top 5 offense in the country, you know, best 3-point shooting team, top 5 offensive rebounding team, and obviously they have a great culture. They've been a winning program, so it was an honor for us to play them.
And Baylor was good last night. Don't get me wrong. That 3-point shooting that Scheyer just talked about, they were 8 of 18, so 44%, which is good, which is really good shooting from outside the arc. But this is where Duke, a little bit down the stretch, I thought, made the big plays when it was necessary. And they had to do it for a stretch late with Kyle Filipowski on the bench. With just over 7 minutes left, Kyle Filipowski picked up his 4th foul. Now, Filipowski struggled a bit shooting from the floor. He did have a double-double yesterday, but him being in foul trouble late, it was, all right, we got to go to the perimeter now, because when Jay Billis actually brought this up during the broadcast yesterday, when you take Kyle Filipowski off the floor and it's Ryan Young and Mark Mitchell as your 2 post players, there's no threat of outside shooting really from either of those guys. So it can change how you play defense, because you don't have a 7-footer like Filipowski that can potentially stretch the floor. So things do change for Duke in that regard. But Duke heavily in this game early on was looking at using Jeremy Roach and Filipowski in pick-and-roll situations, allowing guys like Foster and McCain possibly to play a little bit off the ball. So we saw a lot of that 2-man game early on. But Filipowski was 7.5 minutes or so left in a tight game, had to go to the bench with 4 fouls. But we saw Duke pull away a little bit late, and they were able to, again, grind out that 78-70 win. McCain had a big 3-pointer late. Jeremy McCain, by the way, 21 points. Jeremy Roach was awesome, 18 points for him. We'll get into that in just a moment. But McCain late in the game, it was Jeremy Roach and Ryan Young that ran a pick and roll. Ryan Young has the ball now going down the lane, kicks it out to the corner, to the wing to McCain, who had a big 3 late. That's a big-time moment for a freshman. Jared McCain, a freshman, to hit a shot like that against the number 10 team at Madison Square Garden. Like I said, McCain was great. He had 21 points. Roach, as I said, had 18. And Jeremy Roach was the calming force out there on the floor. Because like I said, Jon Scheyer relied heavily on his starting 5. Blake's off the bench, played 10 minutes. TJ Power played 3. Ryan Young played 8 minutes off the bench. That's it. No Tyrese Proctor. He's still battling the ankle injury. Christian Reeves still out as well due to injury. So you're relying heavily on your starting 5. Their starting 5, Filipowski, Mark Mitchell, just sophomores. McCain and Foster, freshmen. But it was the senior Jeremy Roach that was the calming force. But those freshmen, like I talked about, McCain and Caleb Foster, were big, and Jon Scheyer acknowledged them postgame.
For Jared and for Caleb, as freshmen, to be in this environment and have the games that they did. You know, Jared on offense, he's 21 and 7 of 11 from 3. Very efficient, but also on defense, he's playing his butt off. You know, Caleb ran our team great.
So yeah, big time game for each of those guys. Like you said, 7 of 11 shooting overall for McCain. He was 3 of 6 from behind the arc. Duke as a whole was only 4 of 12. But between Roach and McCain, they combined for those 4 3-pointers because outside of that, Mitchell and Filipowski each missed a couple threes. But McCain and Roach were 4 of 8 combined from behind the arc. Those two guys were great. Foster had 12 points as well, had a couple of assists and 5 rebounds as well. So it was a grind-out style game. Duke got to the free throw line a bunch, by the way. They got to the line 29 times in this game, made 24 of them. That is where the difference, I think, was in this game.
Big.
They get them getting to the free throw line. I still have concerns about Duke in the post. I feel teams are going to attack Kyle Filipowski in the post, and we actually saw Baylor do that last night, hence why Filipowski got into foul trouble and had to come out down the stretch late. I think teams are really going to be physical with him in the low post, and we saw that last night. So I think that's still something that Jon Scheyer needs to figure out about defense down in the post. Do you give Ryan Young a few more minutes? When Christian Reeves comes back, do you start working him in? Or is this how you're going to ride it this season? That's something to be determined.